Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you have watched a video that I posted a couple of weeks ago about 3 patterns, then you would know that I have mentioned again my most favorite fabric store, and especially the pattern called Noah shirt. It's very basic, simple, I would say staple in your wardrobe. So I thought it's worth to take you along today and show you step by step how to make this shirt. Don't get me wrong, on fabric store of course they do have a very good instruction, but I thought as I myself am a person that enjoys more video type of tutorial, maybe there is more people like me, so here we are today. As for the choice of fabric, I actually cut out this pattern from 2 different fabrics. One I had just little scraps, so I have managed to cut it out, but the sleeves are going to be short. And the other fabric that I'm actually going to show you the entire process of sewing is this cotton poplin. As you can see, quite a bold print, but I thought that these colors are very fall appropriate. Very simple shirt, but bold print. I think it's going to be fun to sew and wear. The other fabric is actually this viscose. So at the end, I think the outcome will be a little bit different because this has a more structure and this is more flowy fabric. So if you are interested to see how it's going to end up, then watch until the end. I'm going to show both shirts, but as I always say, enough rambling and let's do it. So these are 2 front pieces. They are almost identical except that one of them is a little bit longer, but as you can see I have already folded, so actually the button placket is already part of it, and you will have these 2 notches here on the top part, so you will know exactly where you need to fold it. And of course before you fold it you need to interface it. And then for the other front piece, the button placket is coming separate. This one is also interfaced, as you can see. And what I did also, I just went ahead and ironed 1 centimeter of a seam allowance to the inside. This is how it looks like so far, really nice and clean. I wasn't trying to match the pattern, I don't really care in this case, so that's for the pattern matching, if you realize that it doesn't. And now a little bit unusual, because they want us to hem the bottom, and this is usually something that you do at complete end of the project, but in the instruction is written that because it's so curvy, as you can see, it's better that we do it now. So now that everything is hemmed, I will take the back piece, and here on the top you will have 2 notches which you will put together like so, wrong sides facing. And then when you open it, you should take this and make it flat like so. I hope you will be able to see, and just run a few basting stitches over here to keep it in place. Now, as you can see, I have 2 yokes here, and I will place the first one over here, right sides facing. Then we will turn this wrong side up, like so. Take this other yoke piece, and this time we will place it that the right side of the yoke will face the wrong side of the back piece. Again, pin it in place and then sew it. So now, as you can see, if I open it, You will have nice finish, of course, from the outside, but also from the inside. There are no seams. And then just sew it as close as possible to this seam, just to reinforce it. So now that we have this back piece all in one, we are going to attach front and back together. But first, let's get this inside yoke out of the way. I have only one layer over here, and then I will bring front pieces, pin them here on the shoulder seams. Of course, they have to be right sides facing. Here is pinned, and now this is the inside. And basically, we need to now fold the back part like so, then also front parts. I think we should do them together. So let's roll all of these together, and then as you can see, this is what we pinned first. Just make sure that your fabric is out of the way, and now turn this inner part of the yoke over here and just pin it again. Other side as well, and really be careful that here everything that you rolled is not coming to this part, because we will be sewing here. And now we need to sew it here. I'm sure that many of you have done this method before. If you haven't, this is called burrito method, hence why. After we sew it and we turn it right side out, there should be no visible seams on the outside. Everything will be nice and closed. So this is the whole purpose of it. It's really not that difficult. Once you figure it out, you will see how easy it is. Now what you need to do is basically just pull everything from one side. And voila! So now, as you can see, the shoulder seams are attached, and when you look inside, it's also really nice and clean. But it will be nicer if you iron it, guys. So let's do it. And now that everything is looking so good, I think let's sew the side seams. So we just basically need to turn it wrong side out, pin the sides, and sew them both. Now I think I will continue by making collar. So let me get you closer so you can see how it's done. So for the collar, you will need to take first this piece, of course. As you can see, one has an interfacing and the other one is without. And basically we will need to just place them on the top of each other, right sides facing, of course, and simply sew it all the way around except this part. So this is how it looks like once I iron it. Now I will just go ahead, take this piece, which is like a collar stand. Again, there are two pieces and one is interfaced and the other one is not. I will take a collar and I will put the interfaced side of the collar on this part. I will match all the notches, and then I will take the other part and just sandwich it in between like so. Go ahead and iron one part of the collar stand like this, 1 centimeter inside. I'm going to do this first because I forgot, and then I will pin it in place. Okay guys, so let's put on the collar. So I will take this piece, put it here on the table. I have my collar here and we'll finally attach it together. So I will first pin it here where the notches are indicated. There is one here on this side and one on this side. As you can see, only one side of the collar stand is attached to the shirt, and now I will have to sew it over here. So now we basically need to, as you can see, there is a seam here, and we need to cover that seam with this part of the collar stand. I personally like to hand stitch this down. It looks nicer. I'm not so good at stitching the stitch, but if you are good at it, you can go ahead, but I am going to do it by hand. Hi guys, so it's a couple of days later. How to say this? Things were happening here in the garden, so I couldn't film. That's why I continued this project a little bit later. Now we should continue with the sleeves. Just because I closed the side seams, I'm going to insert the sleeves a little bit differently than in the instruction, but basically it doesn't matter. Whatever you are more comfortable with. If you don't want to close the side seam and insert the sleeves before, you can do that and then close it all in one, or you can do it as I do. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect the final result. It's just how you feel. I personally just forgot to look at the instructions, so let me put you closer and show you what we need to do as a next. So you can see I have transferred all the marks here, so I will just go ahead and fold the first pleat direction to the slit. I will pin it in place, same with the second one, and then you just need to sew a couple of basting stitches over here to keep it in place. Now for the top part of the sleeve, we will also need to sew a couple of basting stitches over here from one notch to the other, because it has some positive ease. So in order to fit the sleeve in an armhole easier, we will need to gather it. But it's not going to be like your typical gathers. It will be just a little bit wavy. So now that it's sewn, sometimes it is easier to sew from this side, so we can pull the fabric over here. This is what I actually had to do, because first time it got caught here. So anyway, now we should reduce the seam allowance, so I'm going to go ahead and just cut a little bit away. And now I will simply fold it like so, place a couple of pins to help me out, and now we need to stitch it over here. And the last thing that you have to do, as you can see here, just make a couple of stitches in this kind of like a V shape, or I don't know how to call it, and then you have to fold it. The part that is closer to the pleats goes under and over this one, like so. And now we need to sew up the sides of the sleeve. So pin it, sew it here, and immediately overlock in case that you are following my steps. Okay guys, so we have our sleeve and now we need to gather it. And trust me, you don't need to pull it too much. You will quickly see once you start to pull, like so, that it's kind of curling up and creating more of a 3D shape. So I hope you can see now. So this is approximately how much you need, not more. Now for the cuff, as you can see, it's one piece and just half of it is interfaced with the fusible interfacing, and this part should be the one that is outside and not interfaced is inside. And as you can see, I also went ahead and ironed the seam allowance of the inside part like this. First thing, before we insert it, we need to actually fold it in a half, but the right side's facing, and so just until the seam allowance is folded. So guys, I think I'm almost done. I'm just going to hand stitch this down and put some buttons. Most probably I'm just going to use some snap buttons because, as you know me, I really don't like making buttonholes. We will see at the end. But as I promised, you are going to see both shirts finished in 3, 2, 1.
Just to leave you first.